calling Jimmy to hide. Their old mat fails to justify. No meme stock dream, just a brand new fight. Systems too slow, stuck in hindsight. Their models lie blind to the light. Risk engines hot in the night. Not overpriced, just unseen right. Like stars too bright for their sight. The game has changed, they stay the same. New rules blazing, digital flame. Algorithms crash when the future's near. Short sellers break, but the hands stay clear. The data breathes not some dead old shard. A movement paints with a bleeding heart. Their models lie blind to the light. Risk engines halt in the night. Not overpriced, just unseen right. Like stars too bright for their sight. The game has changed, they stay the same. New rules blazing, digital flame. Sheep in the strip mall glow, lining up for Joy-Cons and that's how the show. Dying store, the experts whine it's on its last breath, but I'm watching dudes fight over Mario's death. They got amiibo stacking like pyramids high, and the clerks thinking these fools are baked sky. Transformation, yeah, from games to blockchain dreams, selling virtual and now that the new scheme. Gamestop shifting like a wolf in the night. Haters can't see, but the future's bright. Gamestop ain't dead, you black corporate recruit. They shape shifting wild under the moonshine hue. Dead to the doubters who miss the rise. Through greatness climb and reach for the skies. Line up for the funeral, but bring your cash. It's not dying, it's laughing while you crash. People rushing in for the deal, so neat. Transformation complete. What a beat. Or stream it all they preach from tech thrones tall, but mom's haul carts full of Pokeballs. Used this cheaper than dirt was steel, while the stock's moon and short sellers squeal. Greatest comeback since Lazarus rose, from brick walls to crypto, how it goes. Doubters scream obsolete with their ties, but I'm in line laughing, eating free fries. GameStop shifting like a wolf in the night. Haters can't see, but the future's bright. GameStop ain't dead, you blind corporate crew. It's shape-shifting wild under the moonshine hue. Dead to the doubters who miss the lies. True greatness climbing, reach for the sky. Line up for the funeral that brings a cast. It's not dying, it's laughing while you crash. People rushing for the deal, so neat. Transformation complete. What a beat. for the blind. Miss the magic, too busy to find true transformations when the old learns new. Selling memes and merch to the clicking crew. Gamestop ain't dead, you've been corporate crew. It's shape-shifting wild under the moonshine hue. Dead till the dial as a mist, our eyes shall break this time is reach for the skies. Line up for the funeral, but bring your cash. It's not dying, it's laughing while you crash. People rushing in for the deal, so neat. Transformation complete. What a build. Whispers in the shadows, a legend untold. Gamestop awakens, the story unfolds. In the heart of the gaming world, Gamestop lies, a sleeping giant hidden from prying eyes. With each passing day, it gathers its nine, a force awakening, ready to ignite. No fortunes flaunted.
Yeah, we take these. The PS1, where the cords at?
Weaving new legends, wild and unchained. Driven by passion, fueled by the fire. Rising like a phoenix, climbing ever higher. Gaze on the sleeping giant, now stir for this rest. I pick it up for the daring and blessed. Trading cards gleaming like stars in the sky. In visions of glory, they soar ever high. Amidst corporate titans, it stands proud and true. A saga of resilience breaking through. Every trial it faces turns to victory's gold. In the forge of the fight, its epic is told. No fortunes flaunted, but a spirit untamed. Weaving new legends, wild and untamed. Driven by passion, fueled by the fire. Rising like a phoenix, climbing ever higher. Can't stop the sleeping giant, now stirs from his rest. A beacon of hope for the daring and blessed. Trading card gleaming, stars in the sky. In visions of glory, they soar. Gamestop forever, the legends they fly. A sleeping giant, no more burning so bright.
Alright, everybody. Okay,
Forever.
it's me. Sorry about that. Alright, let's go. Hello, Matt. What's up? What's up? Let me put some chat up here. Alright, so I could see. Alright, everybody. Hopefully, you're doing well. Hold on. Let's go. Yeah. Hold on. 1 second. So Bitcoin went go higher. But it didn't go as I expected. Like, what the hell? What's going on with this bull run? It seems like it's very tame. It should be a lot more violent. You know, I've been around quite a bit of time, I feel like, in crypto land. And I've never seen a bull run this slow before. And again, this is because it's just indicative of who's involved at the moment. I feel like a lot of institutions are involved right now, so that's why you see a little bit more tamed run and all that stuff. So it just, to me, I mean, even then, I just feel like it's still a lot. Like for people who've been in it for quite some time, you would see a little bit of a difference in the way that crypto runs nowadays, and you had so much. I guess the price movement is not as sporadic, as vigorous, I should say. Nonetheless, though, it doesn't mean that it's just gonna stay here for a long time. Hold on, you guys. Let me try to go back here. I'm not quite sure how long I'm gonna be here. Of course, my limit is 2 hours. But who knows? Hey, it's Sunday, and it's a fun day for sure. Waiting for Monday to come. I'm sure every shareholder, GME shareholder, have been waiting for this time. Not quite sure what's gonna happen. Obviously, it's anyone's guess is better than mine. I think best is just to wait and see what happens, and not to expect it to go either way. Doesn't matter what's happening, because we all know that the company's doing better. So there you go. I feel like my messaging is a lot more kind of refined in my experience, like looking back in my journey of investing in this company. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes being hyped all the time is not a good thing. However, yes, you could stay optimistic about the world at hand. You could do that, but also too, it's kind of exhausting to always like get hyped all the time. But sometimes you just can't help it, right? A lot of time, when you are into something that people may not know, and then been kind of fighting against the popular point of view that GameStop is terrible company and all that stuff. And I think leadership has been fighting that too for the last 5 years. And even then, at this moment in time, you see a lot of pushback on what Ryan Cohen has been doing in terms of releasing news, releasing SEC filing just before it was about to go up and all that stuff. Again, like people are just having that perception that the reason why he released SEC filing right before it goes up is because he's trying to, kill the momentum. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that. I think if anything, it gives people, I guess, a heads up. Hey, this is what we're gonna do, and prepare accordingly. That's just how I feel about it. But for people who wants the squeeze tomorrow, I just caution, give you a little bit of a different perspective, because it may not happen tomorrow. Okay, and so just calm down. I know. There you go. My message is right there. The whole 2 hours, you could just go out right now. You don't have to even stay if you don't want to. Anyway, so I have a video here, GameStop video, kind of commenting on the fact that you cannot return, the digital copy that you've been buying, using, like paying full price for, but you don't really get to own it. Okay, so it's really cool that they do this type of, again, skits, promotion, and all, just to a little bit of a jab there for people who think that digital is going to be the future. Although digital is going to stay, but also there are people, a group of people, large or small, whatever, right, that will still be sticking with the physical items and all that stuff, because they view it as an ownership, like you buy it once and then you own it forever type thing, right? As long as you could keep it, in mint condition and all that stuff. So there's always going to be a market for that. Now, yes, cultural differences, it's going to change over time, but to say that physical medium is dead is not correct in the assessment of things. But unless you have so much data, centers to store all of these, digital stuff forever, which I doubt they're gonna, give any real estate to that, because if they don't make money off of you, interacting with the network, you won't be able to do that. But, I feel like moving forward in the future, more and more people are sick and tired of this digital world anyway, right? So the human behavior is going to change in that way, because, with the digital censorship and, you can't say stuff. So, and then also too, yes, like you can't even choose to play the video games that you paid for in full price, simply because somebody just want to, oh, we don't have real estate for you. We would much rather have AI, AI, taking up that space. And so, again, I know like data center and all that stuff can be revolutionary in the progress of humanity, sure. But do you think AI is going to change the world to the better or worse? Do you think? I don't know. Again, to me, um, I've always think that whoever coding the thing, you better hope that they're a good human being. So the tool is only as good as the people who are, help build it. And so if the powerful people in this world don't want you to be free, do you think you're going to be free? Of course not. And so, again, that's why like spiritual awakening type thing needs to happen, to where people needs to promote freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of any type of freedom. I think it's a much better world to live in, because otherwise you're just going to be like kissing ass to people who have all the money in the world, right? Just to survive. So I don't want to live in that world. It's like, it's so boring, right? I mean, think about it. If you wake up tomorrow, I don't know why I go off of this tangent, but um, if you wake up tomorrow and then you realize that every single one that you meet, every single person that you meet, have the same ideology as you, have the same likes, dislike as you, it's gonna be a boring world, honestly. Like, you need a diversity in this world, so that you learn more and more and more and more about, the whole entire world. You cannot just live in a vacuum and think that that is the best thing since sliced bread, right? Because if you think that your idea is the best idea, and no idea, no one else could come up with this great idea, then how can you grow? You need duality, right? You need somebody to say no to you, type thing. But yeah, so I just feel like this world, I think if you think of like, how do you want to exist in this world? The best way to exist in this world is to allow people to be free, to think, be free to act. I just think that that will give people more different idea to, make the world a better place, right? Heaven on earth type of deal. But I think in this country anyway, sometimes we fall into a trap of like, oh, let's wait for the rapture. Let's wait for God to come and clear this evilness out of the world, when you should be, try to make this world, actively making this world a better place through your own action, through the way that you are interacting with people. And, imagine if Brian Cohen, so let me go back to GameStop. Imagine if Brian Cohen would just be like, oh, let's just wait for somebody else to, make this company better. You think this company is going to be better? Of course not, right? So somebody has to take on that mantle in order to, inspire people to do the same. And I really think that GameStop is one of those light, the I know it's esoteric thing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm who's still staying here and will listen to this bull crap. No, I'm just kidding. No, I truly feel this way. Like, GameStop is the only company, in the S&P 500, if you look in the grand scheme of things, that is actually trying to build real value here, right? Through customer engagement, through, selling stuff. Yes, I mean, e-commerce has been around for decades here. It's nothing new under the sun. However, it's fundamental, right? So you buy low and sell high. That's the, trade of the century over here, right? And so and then you try to make profit off of that. Not only that, you create an environment for people to go in store in order to, gain some experience here. So it's all about experience as well. It's not just buying and sell stuff in order to make money here. And I would argue that that is the correct way to, to make money, right? Right, rather than making money some other way, right? By, misleading investor, to make your company make seemingly that you're, the best at everything, even though you don't really deliver any real value for humanity quite yet, right? And they need to prove, like even OpenAI or whatever, these big companies that are, having money hand over fist to try to, the only reason why they are eliminating competition is the fact that they have such a big network of people that prop them up through the enormous amount of money, right? So just because you have an enormous amount of cash doesn't mean that you're actually building anything that is long lasting. You can't do that, right? And so again, that's why I think Jimmy is the only company that is like realistic, enough to grow into something big. But again, with that, of course, it's going to be slow. The growth is going to be slow because you're so used to seeing trillions of dollars in the balance sheets. And all of a sudden, you see this company that only like quote unquote, only earn $60 million, right? And for some reason, that $60 million per quarter, seemingly small, compared to like a $1 trillion company. And then, without looking into the balance sheet of the $1 trillion company, do they actually have the earnings to prop up that $1 trillion company? No, they don't. Right? Because again, enormous amount of money kind of mask everything else that is shitty in that company, right? So we see that time and time again. That's why, again, why do you think Warren Buffett doesn't have much, trim some, a position from Apple? It used to be the biggest position that he had. And so again, people who are understanding that the market, because of the money printing, and people don't know what to do with their money because they have so much of it, they would park it in the biggest company ever. And so this is a sign of, bubble in which it's going to be formed. And so whoever come to realize this the quickest, you're gonna be the one that stand out the most next, the next bull run of things. But again, like going against the grain is pretty difficult because you not only fighting, the conventional wisdom of things, whoever wisdom. Um, I say that lightly when I say wisdom, but it's just again the commonality of people just spewing the same thing. Oh, all you have to do is just buy the S&P 500. How many people are actually tell you that? Like every single financial advisor, that's the go-to, right? Because they're so used to like, well, the market has always been going up, okay, and rightly. I mean, if you look at the over the past 40 years, you would see that the S&P 500 is like nothing but up. But does that even really give you any value? So if you kind of measure everything in terms of Bitcoin, you're going to see that, hey, nothing is measure up to Bitcoin. And again, that's why like when people are telling me, oh, how do you think that Bitcoin is going to go to hundreds of millions of dollars and all that stuff? Because you measure it in dollar. Well, of course, if you measure it in dollar, you're going to see like, oh, that's ridiculous. But if you measure everything in Bitcoin, you're going to see that everything else is going to be cheaper. Okay. And how is that concept, ring true? Well, because you have, other people, group of people who have more money than more money than God. It seems, right? It seems. They have the ability to inflate, your buying power. But nobody in this world can print more Bitcoin. Okay, well, current paradigm anyway, right? So that's the concept, is that it doesn't matter how hard you try. Like, for example, if you go for gold, for example, because gold become more expensive, more and more people are going to try to find gold underneath the ground, right? And how abundant is it? We don't know, right? We could kind of look into it as a like, hey, okay, gold above ground right now, it's like what, $22 trillion. We could say that because we could add it up all together, gold base, and then also the gold that is on people's body, right? Necklaces, watch, and all that stuff, right? You could also add up um the quantity of gold that might be still underneath the ground that hasn't been dug up yet, right? So technically, you still have some inflation on gold. It's just that it takes an enormous amount of time and energy in order to dug up those gold, and that costs money too, right? The cost of digging up gold versus the cost of mining Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin, of course, like there um, there's a cost associated with that when you mine something from the block and all that stuff. Yes, you use a lot of energy, but it's self-corrected too. That no one miner could ever be strong enough, okay, to gain 50%, of the consensus uh, protocol. Because if you get big enough, guess what? It will cost so much more in order to, crash the network. Um, and it wouldn't be beneficial for you anyway. If you have enough money to own 50% of Bitcoin, 51% of Bitcoin, why would you want to crash it? So you have no choice but to be a good actor in that, meeting. Like it's more beneficial for you to be a good person, that are not, trying to tamper with the network. It's more beneficial for you to be, or less beneficial for you to be a villain in that system. Um, and so I think that's a good concept because, like, yeah, you have to be honest, right? In order to gain the reward, the block reward, you have to. But anyways, it's just a concept. on the blockchain here. And that's why Bitcoin is like different from, crypto in general, XRP and all that stuff. So, and Bitcoin stand out is because of the scarcity, and also nobody could really break in. Yes, quantum computer can, but at that point, you might, whoever, thinks that the idea of storing wealth in Bitcoin um, is actually sovereign in and of itself. I have no idea. Just a concept. Okay. Hey, Vulcan Chip, I haven't heard from you in a while. But yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Excited for the Monday. Kind of like becoming a little bit more esoteric for some reason lately. I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of this duality point of view. So I'm just like trying to bring myself to the middle ground and, stay calm type thing. But still, I'm leaning toward the optimistic point of view here that nothing is going to be all doom and gloom unless we are, if humanity wake up to the fact that you could change things, right? It's not doom and gloom all the time. And it starts with you, for example. Right? And again, when people are waiting for something to happen, and not going out there and make it happen for themselves, of course, that's why you feel sick and tired of waiting, or some people, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this for a long time in order to move. Well, when you should have been moving all along, while at the same time that will happen too, right? Whatever dream that you think it's going to happen can happen in tandem, while you don't have anything right now at the moment. My point is that you have enough happiness within you already. Okay. Nothing external is gonna make you even more happy just because you have certain things. So um just more philosophical at the moment. Okay. I got one less worn than wait. I got one less worn than I supposed to have. Weird. What? They already give you the warn? I haven't seen anything yet on my account. Just one? I feel like I'm misreading you. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on. Well, I have Robinhood, so they might screw me over. Who knows? Um, let's see. Did you see the ticker already being rewarded? Awarded? I think by midnight today you might see something. But who knows? I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. But yeah, so I'm not expecting the price spike or anything like that. But hey, I wouldn't be mad if it does immediately, right? Who knows? But I'm well positioned. I have enough at the moment. Yes, at times I feel like I don't have enough. But, you could only be bullish enough to the point where you feel comfortable. You lose everything. It's okay. Oh no, no, I got minus they allocate one. Huh. That's so weird, huh? Did you ever contact them and see why is it like that? Maybe it's a fractional ones where you don't have enough, like where you technically don't have 10 shares. Maybe you have 9.9999, right? I don't know if you have a fractional share. So that's probably the problem, is that you don't quite have 10, but even though it shows you 10, maybe you only have 9.9992 or something like that. Because I think you need to have full 10 in order to get 1. So that's probably what it was.
Yeah,
PS5,
yeah,
baby.
we take these. The PS4, where the cords at? Like, what you need to do
No,
with
no,
this?
no, just the games, not the console.
That don't make no damn sense. The games, I
Well,
don't.
you know, the digital games, man.
Just the digital games from inside the console.
Yeah, I still need the console. I'm done with the games.
Get your ass out my store, bruh.
Come on, man. Sir, please. Oh, man, come on, don't do this to me, man. Come on. Sir, please. I need to feed my dogs.
You should have been fed that dog.
Power to the players.
Okay, so you have 3,000 share, 3,700 share. Okay. And then now you're gonna you only receive 69. Is that what Am I being punked? Are you punking me? Yeah, I mean, I would call your brokerage and see what they tell you. That is
Yeah, we take these.
Receive just 1 less. Anyway, so this is a skit that is kind of funny. Like I was saying, the physical versus digital. And so now people are realizing that you can't return the digital game even though you don't want to play it. Now, again, GME as a company could solve that through NFT if it's successful, if it's, we have the technology for it. But of course, somebody has to build it, right? I don't know if you want to be the one who build the marketplace for that. In order to, if you were to own an NFT of a game, for example, you could still trade in, by selling that NFT as a game pass to someone else at a cheaper price, right? And so, yeah, they could really position themselves for that, but the technology is not quite there yet. They might try to, through blockchain and all that stuff. But even then, you need, if you use it through Ethereum, it's going to be costly, right? Very costly for people to own those NFT, because again, the Ethereum, I guess, protocol is not built for that type of traffic. Okay. Yes, it's better than Bitcoin to build on in terms of trying to build something like that for people to be able to own something digitally. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not saying it won't happen. With the innovation that people are doing, code after code, layers after layers, perhaps you could do that, but still, the underlining overlord of things, right, or order of things, is that you need Ethereum for that. So again, that's why Wall Street love Ethereum, quote unquote, because they could own something and then just sit on their stake in order to just earn cash. They don't want to actually do work, you guys. The whole misconception of like, oh, these people are working hard for their wealth and all that stuff. That's bullshit. Like, if you have enough already to make your money grow, you could like stay there forever just doing nothing, just like GameStop right now. We have tens of billions of dollars. GameStop doesn't need to do anything in order to make money. Just, sit on the cash and then collecting interest, right? And yes, that's a good thing if you're trying to build an infrastructure that people could rely upon. So not to say that, Brian Cohen doesn't do anything. Obviously, there's an initial hard work that has to go into this. But once you get so much money that you more than you know what to do with, then it's just becoming easier to grow that pile. And also that's I'm telling you that's also an advantage too, because with names like this, Ryan Cohen is not just some small fish here. Right? He has a reputation behind it. He has people standing by his work ethic and all that stuff. So and yes, do you think that the corporation out there, the big guys out there, are just don't care about people like Ryan Cohen? Of course they care. They just don't want you to care about this type of leadership. They know that this type of leadership will lead to a better value creation than any other type out there who just scamming people left and right, because eventually you're going to run out of people to scam. Okay, so that's why scam doesn't last decades on end. But businesses like this that Ryan Cohen is trying to build is going to last century. Okay, and my point is that eventually people are gonna come to realize that this is the only company. For now, of course, I'm sure there's more smaller companies that has or smaller leadership who truly want to build something that lasts, right? That upcoming, younger generation are, aligned with this type of work, with this type of value creation in the stock market, and then it's gonna rival the big guys out there who just scamming people left and right. Anyway, why am I going to that? Yeah, so 369. Yeah, not quite sure why. That is a weird situation there. Man, okay. My one is gonna be a little bit less than yours, but pretty close up there. We'll see. We'll see. I should have around 300 or so too. Let me see. I did make sure that I do have like 10 hold one. I don't like the fractional shares because it just uh, not not a good situation to have. What if I want to sell 1.122? The fractional shares, you can't sell it, and then you end up like. But anyway, it's all psychological too. um, that's cool. Okay, so let's look at a different chart over here. Bitcoin, all-time high. Love seeing this. Like I said, oh my gosh, like what is going on? It's really slow. But anyway, I'm aiming for this one towards the end of the year. Why that high? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let me try to draw a fib here. Maybe a daily candle would do. But of course, this trend line over here, we might hit some resistance when we get to close to 130. But it's encouraging to see that it's going up 12% since this bounce, and this bounce is from the last all-time high over here. So it's a flip of resistance into support. What does that mean? It means that it's strong, like the trend is stronger. Okay. Now you could draw this one right here to here. You could discount this. Perhaps it can hit the resistance, but this is strong though. You have about 6 hours to close above this trend line here, or about this support, to, have some continuation. Hey, I'm not a technical analysis person. Just bear with me here. Please don't make any trade based on this. Again, technical analysis is just a one side of the coin. You have to look at the whole macro too, right? Where is the liquidity? I think that, overall, the economy, when you think about what the Federal Reserve is going to do this month, what are they going to do? They're already hinting the fact that they're going to cut more rates, right? They're not quick to cut 50 basis point or anything like that. Because again, inflation is still running rampant. It's more than 2% now. When you hear that they're doing 2% cut, 2% inflation, it's actually more than 2. So the value of your dollar is going to erode quicker. They told you it was 2%. Right now it's 3%, so expect it to be double that, meaning 6%, 6 or 7%. And again, that's why Bitcoin reacted to that. It's very sensitive to the rates that is being implemented. If they do rate increase, right, people will quickly try to be front running the Fed type thing. They think they can front run the Fed, but as an investor, right, if you are long term investing in Bitcoin or any type of instrument at all, you might feel a little bit less antsy, because if you don't need your investment in 10 years, why not just add more? So just always try to find the opportunity to buy the dip and all that stuff. Again, as a long term. But if people are just trying to trade this thing, over time, you're not going to do well. Okay. Let's see. What am I saying here? I just think it's going to quickly do this, super cycle here. That's why, again, like it's going to be quick. And people are not going to understand why. It's like one day you're going to open up your account and it's like up 20% in a day type thing. Again, like this is what crypto is like. And altcoin's going to go crazy, right? This is where, the opportunity for, and again, that's why I'm positioning myself. Yes, I have some Bitcoin, but again, that's more like 10 years from now. I already made the mistake of selling my Bitcoin. About 7 years ago. My last cycle. Again, like if you don't need the money at this moment in time, that's the only thing that you could, the only way that you could stay, up top slowly. You don't need $1 million today. Have to like adopt the attitude of like, I have like Awoken Sheep over here has 3,000 shares of Gamestop. Imagine if each of them is worth $1,000. That's a lot of money. Okay, so that's $3 million. Okay. But how many people would just sell at $1 million? Don't you think? Like, I feel like, as a trader, right, you see that large amount of money, and then you think that it's going to diminish, and this is why people sell, on the run up, and then only to find out a couple months later, a couple years later, it's like 10 times that amount, right? And this is what happened to Bitcoin holder. But now, again, becoming more and more mainstream, and they're gonna pump this to the highest. And again, it's not just the US, you guys. Like, this is global realization, but not everyone is going to make that decision, you guys. And so that's why action, swift action is needed when it comes to investing in stuff like this. Um, the more you know about Bitcoin, the more you become more bullish about Bitcoin. Right? But anyway, I wish I knew this 10 years ago. I would have been just chilling right now. 1 million per share? I don't know. But hey, I wouldn't be mad if it is, you know. I just, again, like, it's tough to put a price on a company that hasn't been, you know, in its glory yet. This is the bare bottom. Like, we've just come out of a period in which we lost a lot of money. Okay. And then now we're at the inflection point where we do not only that we fix the balance sheets to the point where we're not bleeding money anymore, but also we have thrived to the point where the economy is going to shit. Everybody is like losing money left and right, including Coca-Cola, for example. I don't know if you know this, like, within the past 2 quarters, Coca-Cola as a business had a negative cash flow for the first time in century. So that tells you something, okay? That even the behemoths out there are struggling, okay? What is that indicative of? Bubble, right? Because the behemoths out there, they're just, you know, they're not innovating. They're not spending enough money into the economy in order to make people, you know, more wealthy in the minds, right? But again, that's capitalism, right? And right now, again, we don't have real capitalism, you guys. We actually have a crony capitalism, they call it, right? Only the people that are in the network, okay, in the club, okay, the club. I mean, think about this. Like, even Ryan Cohen as a billionaire, think of himself as a retail. Think about that. And so, you know, he's still, you know, somebody who doesn't want to participate in that type of, you know, what is it? Predatory capitalism, because again, he come out, he become a billionaire for the right reason, and that takes an enormous amount of work to get there. But yeah, the reward is handsome too. I mean, handsome. The reward is high too, but you have to push back on a lot of, you know, crazy rich people out there who just want to control humanity. But anyway, who knows? But anyway, so the file that we have been seeing so far, of course, like, nothing new, you guys. This is just a corporate. It's like just a heads up for people to understand. Hey, we might be able to do this more often, and you might not see, you know, the notification. But I trust that Ryan Cohen and leadership is going to do the best he can to, you know, create value for the company. Blind trust, sure. I mean, yeah. If you see this result and you still don't trust the person who have, you know, straight A and all that stuff, right? Really, you can't. Not only straight A's on, you know, all the records and all that stuff, but they have demonstrated that they could turn this company around when every single person on this planet, so it seemed, was against, you know, the success of the company for some reason, right? We don't know why, what the reason is. Why was it such a controversial topic when it comes to talk about GameStop as a legitimate company. I mean, I was watching Moran's last night, and he talked about, meme stock and all that stuff, getting tired of it, which is true. The meme stock terminology is placed for a reason. They want you to think that it is illegitimate in some way. And if you say a lie more often enough, people will believe it. It's true. I mean, look at what is happening right now with this administration. And for some reason, that's ring true to the psychology of people. People are sheeple, you guys. I'm telling you, it's easy to manipulate people for some reason, and it's becoming more easier right now. More easier, even easier with this technology too. You could really get fooled by this AI generated, and it's gonna become worse, you guys. Like you might not even see what the real thing is. They could generate some sort of image to, tell you the end of the world is near, and then nothing is happening outside, but they say, oh, well, it's coming, right? And then just fool people into believing that. And so again, that's why you need some differences of opinion out there, and go out there and experience the world that you might not have seen before, and then you would really you would realize that, hey, the world is bigger than your own bubble over here, right? And if you live in a world that tells you GameStop is a terrible company, you're gonna live in that world thinking that it is a terrible company because it's a meme stock, right? Like, there's no coming back from that. You already made your choice, you already made your position known, right? And again, on the other side of thing too, just because the companies, I guess, don't think that the company is going to go to $1 million a share tomorrow, just because this mechanism is there. I'm not saying it won't happen. Of course, like anything is possible, right? But at the same time, the valuation would have been crazy. Again, will who's they? Will the system would not be able to handle that. Okay. Anyway, so just my thought. Speak to price. Okay. No idea what you're talking about. You're talking about Ron Kitty? Assuming. Okay. Sure. Francis. I wouldn't say he's overselling. I think, again, like, if you watch him for a while, which I have been, I've been seeing through all his channel ever since he had like 2,000 subscribers. So that's when I first found him. And he's very protective of his audience, which, as he should, right? But I think that doesn't do his audience I'm trying to I just think when you protect people from the descending point of view, it makes you weaker in a sense, right? Because you're telling your audience, like, hey, you're not smart enough to figure out that this is the lie, right? And I don't like that, if that's the only criticism that I have. But it's his platform. I don't mind that he try to protect people as best he can. I know, you know, there's a lot of young people out there who watched his these type of things and might think that you know, differently about the squeeze. Not only young people, I'm sure a lot of older folks as well might believe in that narrative of the squeeze um, and might not have the full story, you know. So that's the only thing. But I wouldn't say he's overzealous. I think he's pretty reasonable in the way he thinks. It is the greatest company. What are you talking about? Oh, I feel like I'm more bullish in GameStop than Moran, so you might not even like me. But yeah, it's a turnaround. He's been saying that. It's like he's the only person that's been saying that it is a great turnaround company. Um, I guess like I think if you haven't watched him since the beginning, you might not know that. Right now, he had so much newcomers out there. I don't know how many years you've been subscribed to him, but if you're just new to his content, you might think that he's just overzealous because of the helmet, right? Um, I think again, this is clicks. You know, it's the play on the media out there. Unfortunately, that's the only way you get people to click on your video. And again, that's why I don't want to participate in that because it's exhausting, you guys, to try to get clicks and all that stuff. And oh man, like if you don't do videos, you might not know that. Just to get your ideas out there, you have to compete with all of this crazy, you know, thumbnails and all of that. So and he's been doing that quite a and he deserved all of the you know subscriber that he has, and he worked hard for his craft for sure. Like I don't know how many people really know that. I mean, as an audience myself, I know it's been working hard to get to this point. Like, I mean, look at my channel. I mean, it's hard to have people engaged in your content. Really, I mean, go and make your video yourself. Like, I've been making this channel for like the past 2 years. I have more videos than a subscriber. Think about that. And again, that's because I don't care too much. Like to me, I feel like if I show my face, I probably get more subscriber just because of that. Because again, people like to see face, arm flailing around, and I'm not trying to participate in that. Sorry, just my voice is enough. Anyway, speculation. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so with your question there, I mean, $32 Warren, the shelf offering. Did they say a shelf offering? Sure. I mean, again, like I'm not here for a price target or anything like that, you guys. Like because again, it's all speculation. I don't know what it's gonna be. You know, I've been in this company long enough to know that if you think it's gonna go to, you know, it's gonna break out, it might not break out until it's too late for you to realize that. So the best thing to do is just to wait and see what happened. And again, if you want to bet up and down, just to speculate, just to make, you know, a quick buck, you can. You might lose all that money too if you do. Right? So just know the risk and yeah, position yourself accordingly. If you think it's going to go to $35 tomorrow in one day, sure. I mean, that could happen. I know I might not answer your question. Well, sorry, not the channel for that. Sorry. Gmail is the greatest company to invest in right now. No other company has the potential that GME has in the near future. Yeah, the next 5 years. For sure. I believe that, you know. I mean, it's hard to create value, you guys, that people will consistently come back for, you know, for your views, for people to spend money into your company. You know, you need a repeating customer, and only take one, you know, mess up in order to, like, you could spend years and years and years building on the reputation, and it only take one, um, you know, one comment on your, you know, to make the company terrible type thing. But again, true value would stand through the test of time. Okay, there's no gimmick here. Just like Moran says, you know, last night, if you watched his show, that it's all value created. You know, that value, like I said before, is very, very slow. Okay, it's not a squeeze type of thing anymore. Okay, and I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying that unless people realize that, you know, you need that much time, like 10 and 15 years type thing. Yeah. Why do you think Berkshire Hathaway become the behemoth for the last, you know, centuries? Is it a century yet? I don't know. Took 80 years for Berkshire Hathaway to be where it's at right now, because they built the foundation for it already. That, you know, how many boom and bust cycle have Berkshire Hathaway been around? I would argue like at least 5, right? At least 5. Pretty cool. So again, that's why, you know, some people would compare GME, GameStop, to Berkshire Hathaway for the next 5, 10 years, maybe 100 years. Who knows? Okay, all right. People are fighting. We can still wish, can hope things are changing, but you can't change. You can't call. Yeah, sure. Okay, I mean, I think that's reasonable. Okay. Ryan Cohen turned it around from burning. Yep. Many reasons. Yes, from share dilution, but okay. People, okay, I'm sure. Crispy, J Crispy. I know. Dilution narrative and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. So again, let's settle this for all. Okay. If you think that this share offering is dilutive, and all of that, you could think of it that way. It's fine. But just know that dilution is not all bad. Not all dilution is good either. Okay. But if you look at the track record of this leadership, you could see that every single dilutive effect that you see, yes, short-term bets out there will get burned to the ground. If you're betting on this company in a short-term period of time, buying calls and all that stuff, you're gonna get burnt, whether through market maker or, sure, Brian Cohen diluting. Okay, so what is he trying to tell you? What is that telling you? It tells you that the leadership is here for the long term. So if you're long-term minded thinking in this company, you're going to benefit from it. But if you're short-term minded, doesn't matter whether you could time it right or not, the IV is going to crush you anyway. So you might not even making that type of money that you saw Roy and Kitty made. Okay? And again, IV could change at an instant. You don't know when it's going to change. You might, again, like if you're smart enough, you want to buy at a low IV, sure. But how do you know that? It used to be, you guys, if you look at the IV history, okay, it used to be 80% was the low for the longest time. Now it's down to 40%. And you might think that, oh, that's low. What is to say that it's going to go down to 20%? You think it's not going to happen? Of course, it can happen. So again, that's why people, it's going to get burned if you buy call, right? It's not beneficial for you to buy option. Only a handful of time, like a specific amount of time in which you might be able to, but that's scarce. It's very scarce, and only the elite would know that. Okay, unless you know the order books, you're not gonna know when they're gonna turn on that, IV crush. Okay, you might get lucky, but that's just treated as a lottery. In that case, you're not really investing in the company. You just bet up and down. That's fine. I mean, if you want to treat GME as a casino, you can do that. And again, there's an analogy that I think I covered that too. But I would much rather being a house. Like, if you think of a GME as a house, the house will never lose. You just, collecting rent from people. If you want to, do the what is it, sell call, sell put, and all that stuff. You just, again, providing liquidity for people to gamble. Buy option buyer to gamble, right? So you could treat GME as that too if you want to. But for the people that are, investing in the company, they are believing in Ryan Cohen, in his deliverance of things. Okay. Yes, including those shelf offering. So what? If it's dilutive, it's dilutive. Sure. But you make the pie bigger. Okay. Would you rather holding a company that has a market cap of $1 trillion, or a company that has a market cap of $100 million? You own half of the company at 100 million, but then you own 2% of a $1 trillion company. Which one would you rather own? A 2% of $1 trillion, or 50% of $100 million? I would pick the 2% of the trillion. Right? So it's a matter of perspective here. Yeah. And the more dilutive, the more creative. These type of dilutive effect is accretive because the management is not there to take away from shareholder equity in order to do something stupid with it. Okay, so that's the difference. So yeah, it's based on the management. I mean, if you compare GME with AMC, it's night and day. Okay, anytime AMC leadership dilute, it's sucking the value out of your shareholder equity. Anytime GME dilute, guess what? Look at the shareholder equity. I mean, I'm not even going to show it to you because I need you to go and look at it for yourself. So I'm just too lazy to click on things. But anyways, it's just my perspective. All right. Oh, okay. Not the greatest company yet. Okay. I'm subtle with that. Okay, not yet. But that's why you invest in this company right now, hoping that it's gonna be the greatest company. When Apple was a very small company, it was not the greatest company yet back then. But there are people who believe in Apple and get rewarded handsomely right now. I'm sure if they still hold Apple share till this day, 20 years ago, yeah, they would get rewarded. The same way with GME. It might take 20 years. And when I say 20 years, people already lost their minds. Like, what? 20 years? Too long. Guys, it's not that long. You You go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, you go to work, you go to sleep, eat, wake up. 20 years already. So time goes by fast, you guys. But anyway, yeah, again, is it the greatest company? It's on its way to. It's not yet, sure. I agree with that. But it's on its way to it. And I think it's faster than you think. Like I said, when I said 20 years, people already lost it. But it might be 2 more years. Who knows? But again, what I know is that even Brian Cohen come out and say too, right? That we're going to be profitable every single quarter from now on. Okay, so you could expect that the revenue is going to go up and up. Right? And how many evidence of earnings do you think it's going to take for people to capitulate on this company? When I said people, the big guys out there. Okay, right now, all the hedge fund, all of the, whatever, whoever, shorting this thing, or not even the shorter, the people that have not established any position in this company yet. It's going to come to this company. Mark my word. And again, that's why Larry Chang put it on his tweet. Let's go to Larry. Larry. What is he said about keeping this as a reference? Keeping this as a reference. Look at this, right? So he's signaling to you, it's like, hey, institution is coming. So just locking this for the future reference. Okay, this is what leadership is trying to tell you. Where we're headed, institutional ownership will increase. Okay, and then people like, try to steer you. It's like, these are bad people. No, not every single institutions are bad or bet against GameStop. Only a handful. Go look for it yourself. Like maybe 5 or 4, more like 7. 7 out of like 300 institutions is actually shorting. GME, short only. Talking about short. There are institutions who are short and long too, right? But every single shorts out there is gonna switch long someday. How do you think short makes money? They makes money by buying the stock back, right? So just keep that in mind. So anytime the price drop, that's what happened. They have to buy it back. So now the key is not to sell it to them at a lower price. Right? But yeah, again, perhaps again, my point is the reason why the price is low. Number one, people get tricked. Okay, people are not looking at this the right way. Okay, people may have a different expectation, thinking that it's gonna do something this time, right? This time is it, now or never type of deal, type thing, right? And just know that you might put yourself at enormous risk if you bet it that way. The only way to de-risk in that, in my opinion, is to own the share and just sit tight, right? Not doing anything with it. And also to think about it, that if you buy calls, you could get IV crush even though the price goes up. IV still low, you might not be able to profit off of that. Does that make sense? So again, that's why most people who buy calls, buy puts, even the downside people lose money. Right? Oh, okay. People attacking each other. What's happening? Okay, I'm not keeping up with the chat here. Well, thank you for engagement with my chat today. Pretty lively. Not many people here. Let's see. It is okay. Potential. I'm heavily invested in Jimmy. Okay. Ron Kitty said himself speculated. Okay, that's fine. Again, back then it was a speculative. When did you listen to Ron Kitty? Are you like since the beginning of time? Are you the OG in this? Everything is a speculative. But I feel like right now, if you were to invest in Jimmy right now, it's a lot less riskier than here. Right? Back here, riskier because we don't have hardly any, you know, data point to point that this company is going to succeed. Back then, it was yes, quote unquote, a gamble because we only have Ryan Cohen at the helm. Okay, at this point in time, right here, I think Ryan Cohen bought in like $5 a share or something like that. So back here, even before Ryan Cohen got in as a board of director or whatever, you just hope that the old leadership was gonna, do something that will create shareholder equity. But also back then too, think about how the value of the company was higher than the share itself. That's why Roy Kitties think it was a deep value invested. Okay, but again, just because it was higher, you didn't have the leadership that will steer the ship correctly. It wasn't until Ryan Cohen got in here that shareholder equity, shareholder, was invigorated as a catalyst. Again, this is the catalyst from Ryan Cohen. Okay, not some short squeeze and all that stuff. Yes, that happened too. Yes, some shorts was freaking out. But if you think of it that way, back here, a lot riskier because you don't have Ryan Cohen. Back here, it's less risky than here, right? Because now you have Ryan Cohen. At least, the leadership has changed, new hope for the company until this day, right? But you still have the risk of the business not going well, right? And so the risk was that you have Ryan Cohen come in. We have the CEO. I forgot his name now. Matthew Furlong, whatever, right? So you have the CEO. The CEO made some decision that wasn't really creative, or whatever. The executive's decision was not on Ryan Cohen at that point. Ryan Cohen just got in as a CEO somewhere. I forgot now. How long ago was it, CEO? He was the CEO? Oh my God, I should know. My point is that, at every stage in this company, it become more and more risky for investor to get in. And perhaps this is why the price doesn't do what people expected it to do. The explosion and all that stuff, because now, more and more people are agreeing with you that GME is actually legit and there's no, funny business in terms of, a price spike here and there just because of that. So now you have a consistent investor who just buying in and then hold, right? Including institution investors out there. So that stability is here, right? And people are not understanding that. And so the next speculation is that S&P 500 will make whoever, again, there's still short position here that hasn't been closed, at least the one that is reported, which is 18% or so, right? 16% or so. Those people are still not capitulating yet. Maybe perhaps they still believe that GME is going to fall. GME is going to go under, and they don't make any moves yet. Or perhaps they just don't have the money to close their position. So that's also a possibility too. Again, they have to sell their asset. And typically, if you study what Moran's is talking about, the private equity aspect of it, they do have a very illiquid asset, so they cannot sell without taking a loss. So again, that's why you don't see them, closing that position and pumping up their own bag from, to scam people, And again, it's a strategy for them not to fall down, I guess, whoever's shorting this thing to the oblivion. But again, hey, this is not our headache to, who cares who cares if they short the stock, right? There's a song, I made it. But they'll have to buy it. So I'm not worried. It happens when it happens. Just know that if you invest in this company, leadership is thinking about long term. Rowan Kitty, again, he's a master at, seeing the option chain and when to strike and all that stuff. Unless you are him, you're not going to be able to, capture it. But don't blame that on Ryan Cohen for, shelf offering and all that stuff. That's just stupid, in my opinion. Sorry about that. Don't believe in that. Again, that's why people get so mad. The wrong people here. The people that you should be mad at is market maker. Maybe market maker is just making their own money too. They try to survive themselves too. Or yourself. I mean, you could be mad at yourself. Why do you make the decision, to bet on a company rather than just buy the company shares? Be happy with that. Right? Again, personal responsibility also play in a role. Play in this role. Okay. No speculation. Don't care. Yeah, sure. See, again, there's a two different camp here, right? People who invest in this company based on Rolling Kitty, or there's another camp of shareholder investor out there who buy the companies because of brand. So whichever camp you come in really depends on who you are. But I truly believe that even Roy Kitty believe in Ryan Cohen. Put a lot of enormous trust in that. But again, like I'm sure he's shaving his position in and out in terms of calls, right? I still think he's probably still have the share. It's tough for me to speculate at this moment in time until he do the YOLO update. But I'm sure people are waiting on that, or whoever's shorting this company is gonna be, afraid if Roy and Kitty ever come back, right? So that's an element too. Not knocking at you if you're investing in this company because of Roy and Kitty or not. I'm sure people come to know about GameStop, including myself. Like, I didn't never thought about investing in GameStop until Roy and Kitty, news, meme stock, and all that stuff. And so thank to Rowan Kitty, you know, and the media. I mean, I'm sure the media was the one who give Rowan Kitty that notoriety about this company. So yeah, in large grand scheme of things, I think they both have an importance here. But I think Ryan Cohen has a more hands-on effect on the company direction and all that stuff. So that's a double-edged sword too, right? Because people will blame him on everything too, with GameStop. While the speculator out there, they just speculate. They don't do much of a work there to turn the company around. And so, you gotta be aware of why Ryan Cohen doesn't speak, why Ryan Cohen doesn't do much of an interview, because he's so busy doing what needs to be done to get this company running. Without Ryan Cohen, Rowan Kitty would not be, holding this company for this long. Okay. So, because remember, he said, what, $40 a share? That's what he was waiting for at the time when he bet it. So, of course, now it's probably more valuable than $40 a share. But $40 pre-split, right? Before this, $40. This was 10. This is the $40 he was talking about. Because when he's testified, right, in the Congress, that was $40. So now it's even more expensive than $40. So we're actually like around like $100, right? From here. Yeah. If Jimmy didn't split, right, there's a 4-to-1 stock split right here, we would have been at $100 a share. All right, wow. Thank you for engaging today. Now I'm down at the moment. Too much engagement. See, like, enormous amount of energy over here being spent. But anyway, I mean, not enough energy to run a company that is so polarizing, and you get people. If again, Ryan Cohen, if he were to listen to all of you guys complaining about how dilution happens and all that stuff, do you think he's gonna be? I don't think he cares. Honestly, he just wants to build something that lasts for a long time for himself, for his own legacy, his own ego, right? And at the same time, you get to help creating something that people will talk about for centuries, right? I think again that's more valuable than money could buy, in my opinion. You hardly get this type of company anymore. Now it's all about money, right? How much money that you is able to generate for people who already have enough. So, and this is such a huge shift too, like that we need as a country. So that it should be all about value creation, and that's what real capitalism should be. Is that some people should be falling, right? Some old ideas should be falling just as quickly. The only reason why this big company gets to be as big as they are is because they have eliminated, competing idea. No wonder you don't have, good things in this world, in this country, because we're no longer thinking about innovation to make people's lives better. We only think about, okay, how much can we make on top of, old ideas already. And, yeah. And on top of that, you don't really create any type of middle class to be able to prop up this company, this country. So when you think about like middle class diminishing too, is because of these big businesses, right? You don't have people who are working for hundreds of other companies that are middle managers that are, thinking outside of the box and all that stuff. So you have less and less managerial, class. And so now you have an overlord and a peasant. So there you go. And in my opinion, I think Ryan Cohen is trying to build a middle class here. If you invest in a company, you're going to be a middle class for sure. So just support this type of company. I know, why am I going so esoteric? Okay, what on earth are you talking about? When we get into the S&P 500, we get automatic buy pressure because of tons of okay, missed this one. The bet is on Ryan Cohen since we don't know what he is doing exactly. Okay, sure. I mean, you're not wrong in saying that, but is it pure speculation that the company is doing better now? No, you have amples of evidence that the company has been doing quite well. Right? Ample, right? These are not just number on the screen, you guys. It it tells you a story of trending, income going higher, revenue beats for the first time ever in centuries. I don't know. So it seems right. For the past, I would say 2 years, ever since you know about this company, what have you been hearing so far? Is that revenue is declining, therefore, um, company is shitty. Without seeing the trend for the past 2 years, you would not be, making the decision right now. Think about if you just hear about GameStop at this moment in time, you don't have any position. Would you more likely to buy GameStop now or 2 years ago? I would argue now, right? But people who've been buying for the last 4 5 years, right, have been building the position, again, me included, till now, because we did it slowly. We don't break out, well, okay, at some point it was over here. Okay. I bought over here, but again, slowly, right? I've been buying right there. So again, that's why I have the position that I have right now, because we believe in the company before anyone else see this happening. Yes, back then over here, this is speculative, right? When you buy it over here, that you think that Ryan Cohen's going to be able to turn this company around. We didn't hear any, anything about partner up with PSA ahead of time, because we don't want to advertise that to people who, may, try to smack the idea from them, right? So there's no reason for Ryan Cohen to advertise that before it happened. So in that sense, yes, you might say that it is speculative here. But right now, because of these new partnership, new ways of, thinking about the company as a, e-commerce type of deal, you see that the results from those partnership and from the change that leadership has been doing, cutting costs and all of that stuff, result in these, numbers. And so from that, I don't think now it's a speculative bet anymore. I mean, you could say the speculation is If you think that the company is going up in value to trillions of dollars, I could say that that is a speculation. Right? We could speculate on the time frame, right? How long it takes for GME to go into the S&P 500. But it's not a speculative bet anymore that it will go into the S&P 500, in my opinion. I think Ryan Cohen also already said it in his interview. So we're gonna be profitable from now on. So I take him as at his words, and I think he's gonna deliver that promise for now. Right? He's not promising you that it's gonna go, to a gazillion dollars tomorrow. No. All he's saying is that we're gonna be profitable from now on every single quarter. We're not gonna be reliant too much on the software business anymore. So now we're leaning on to collectible business, higher profit margin, higher foot traffic, and then you could play on the psychosis of people who are just buying things just to buy things sometimes, right? Because again, the speculative price point of Pokemons and all that stuff, it's still, yes, delivering value to collectors out there. Again, I can't understand that because I'm not a collector myself, but I know people, like Picasso and all that stuff. You could think of it as that, where people are so prideful of what they own sometimes, and so they're willing to pay, big bucks for those type of things. I mean, think about Labubu. Like, what is the Labubu? The guy, the little thing that people are just so nuts about, right? So my point is that, like, leadership could sell anything. You don't need to sell just video game, you guys. Like, and we've been demonstrating that on a scale that rival any type of business out there. So and on top of that, you have track leader. I mean, track. Wait. You have a leadership that is so gung-ho on you thinking of it as a long-term investing that it makes no sense for you to keep betting on the short term. Right? So, and a matter of perspective, you guys, and that's why, when people are getting angry at Ryan Cohen posting, or at least leadership, posting an SEC filing and all that stuff for dilution, they don't get the big picture here. You could say, I mean, he's trapping people in here. Okay. If you feel trapped in the best company ever made, right? I'll be trapped here forever, right? And happily being trapped here. That's so funny. Think of it that way. Let's see. Okay, yes. So the S&P 500 is in, and again, that's the ultimate dream, right? That's the ultimate dream. Everybody wants to be in the S&P 500 and all that stuff until the S&P 500 fall, right? The top 10 companies actually, it's bigger than the GDP of the U.S. That's like not really a good sign because too much money at the top. Okay, so the S&P 500 will have to correct at some point. Every metric tells you that, right? Yes, the bubble might be a little bit higher because now you have a different type of set over here that is going to inflate it in price, that they're going to rival everything else. Bitcoin has become a center stage here. The fact that GME already have established a position in Bitcoin, that's enormously important as well that people don't realize. You know, technically, if you buy a share of GameStop, you have a portion, a small portion. I'm not saying like hundreds of millions here yet, but that small portion will turn into if Bitcoin were to go up in price as quickly as I expect it to do. This quarter, you guys, is going to, this quarter, fourth quarter is going to blow people's mind when it comes to the earnings for GameStop. Yes, people are gonna be in disbelief. They might not want to make any type of decision to establish the price yet. FOMO is gonna kick in, you guys. Okay, if Bitcoin is an all-time high right now, and it's going to be expected to be around $250,000 within this 3 months, where do you think Jimmy's gonna go? But again, it's depends on and here's another thing too. Jimmy doesn't need Bitcoin to survive. Okay, Jimmy needs Bitcoin to thrive quicker than any other company on earth. Okay, if they do it correctly. But I think they keep it safe. They keep it at a level in which at the time they were making 10% investment. Right now they have more money, so I'm hoping they have bought over here, right down here, after the quarter end, just to show that Jimmy has more Bitcoin. Again, if Bitcoin at an all-time high, right, and people find out that they bought it over here, what do you think is gonna happen, right? So, more and more people will pull into the company anyway, naturally, slowly, so making the company even stronger. And on top of that, if Ryan Cohen were to dilute at the top, guess what? The floor is going to raise even higher. So when you hold GameStop share at this over here, you dilute over here, just as long as you don't sell, right, your floor will raise somewhere over here without doing anything. All you have to do is just hold the share, right? Just like the same way when you bought it over here. All you have to do is just wait for Ryan Cohen to dilute, the dilution event. Guess what? The floor was raised over here. Floors. And then eventually, S&P 500 is inevitable. The only thing is that we don't know how long it's going to take. Right? It depends on how high this thing go, and Jimmy, as a company, is able to raise how much more money. Right now, we're aiming to, with this warrant, right? We're aiming to make $2 billion from this. Okay. Now, imagine if they make a preferred share on top of that, right? For whatever reason, whatever structure, right? Or more warrant at a higher price. What do you think is going to happen? Maybe instead of 32, we're going up to 42. Do you think more and more people would want that when Bitcoin is at an all-time high? Yeah, it's happening, guys. I'm telling you. So it's smart for leadership to do this, because how else would you be able to earn to raise $10 billion in the span of 2 years? It'd be a pipe dream for AMC. It'd be a pipe dream for any other company out there, because now they don't have the shareholder to back them up. The board of directors don't, because they don't want their share to be diluted either, right? Because stuff like that. Or they may have some other backdoor deal that does not allow them to even sell share into the market when when the market is high like this, And so the ability to raise money is actually a good thing for the company. Like for the long term, obviously, like share price gonna cradle, sure. You're not gonna get that smooth, 20% up in every single day. But you could be sure that if you invest slowly, you're not gonna lose your money. Like you're never gonna lose your investment, whole entire investment, just because you're wrong on the time. It's more directional than anything. And that's why fundamental is important. Like I think it's more important than the technical analysis out there. Because if you look at the company and the company's doing well, just like Coca-Cola, for example, I feel like the downtrend for Coca-Cola is starting. Let's talk about Coca-Cola. Yeah. Company. Yeah, so if you look at the monthly, so now you're gonna start seeing this behemoth of the company start losing investing. Look at that. So for decades on end. So now if you want to, I think this is the top here. You might see like, like a spike here for just a couple of quarter. And then, boom, done. Hold on, let me see. Something about negative cash flow. See, like they're too big already. 4% up. There you go. For the first time. Let me see. But I wonder. Hold on, you guys. Okay. Actually, let me take a quick break, real quick. I'm gonna warm my coffee up, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna play my trusty hype song over here. Oh my goodness. I can't even click on the right. I will be right back. Okay, which is the best song? I love this song. It's funny, but I love it. Where did it go? Oh no. All right. I'll be right back.
Stop, got that glow, turning heads with profit steady slow. From losses to wins, Q1 flip the show. Net income rising like a rocket go. Ryan Cohen, yeah, he's the king on the throne. True, we found to turn this beast to gold. Visionary moves, got big money moan. Had the CEO dream, bolding on control. New partnership with ESA, so fine. Trading collectibles in a million line. Digital power packs, open online. Pokemon to sports fortune shine. Gamestop, so sexy, can't look away. Stocks on fire, night and day. Diamond hands holding, never gonna sway. GameStop, baby, you're my bae.
GameStop is rising while the world is asleep. Small but mighty with cash so steep. Billions waiting for the leap. No cash burn, just profits we keep. The CEO speaks with a confident tone. Let them short, he's focused alone. Building business to the bone. Buckle up and just be wise. Interests align, no compromise. Can't stop, won't stop our GameStop. Power to the players, to the mountaintop. GameStop is thriving while the market sleeps. Strong and steady where the future creeps. Opportunities are ours to reap. Growing strong and playing for keeps. The CEO speaks with a confident tone. Shareholders stand like solid stone. Future bright and fully grown. Buckle up and just be wise. Interests align, no compromise. Can't stop, won't stop our GameStop. Power to the players, to the mountaintop. GameStop's got cash to grow. No more burns, just profits flow. Small but strong, they steal the show. Quarter gains begin to glow. People's eyes will open wide. Shock will spread like waves and tide. GameStop's power can't be denied. Watch it rise and take the ride.
All right. Hopefully you enjoy that bits there. Let's see. Sorry, you guys, I have not catch up to the chat. I know people are like, Jay Crispy there. I know, like, people invest in this company for different reason, and I'm not trying to attack you or anything like that. Yeah, I respect your opinion in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. But again, whatever reason that you investing in this company for, I hope it's your own speculation and not, through because of certain events and all. I know it's pretty exhausting to try to debunk every single point out there, because for every single point out there, there's always an opposite point of view. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, knowing is to know what you're investing in, and so when certain event doesn't happen, you don't get bogged down. Like, even the what is it, the SEC filing, right? People get so angry, like, if you read all of the posts and all that stuff. But keep in mind too, those might not be people. Those angry posts might not be people. It might be bots and all that stuff. So just, again, speculation, sure. I mean, that's what the stock market is all about, right? It's all speculation here. I don't think anyone know where GameStop is going to be at in terms of price. Not even Ryan Cohen know where the price is going to be, you guys, right? Again, that's why he's just focusing on building valuable company, valued customer, value, something that he knows best, which is, e-commerce and all that stuff. And that's all he could do, right, to build that from the ground up. So the ceiling, he doesn't know. That's why he just, okay, let's just raise the ceiling. It's just like the debt, the government debt, right? They always have a ceiling, and then every single 4 years they vote on that ceiling has to be reached, and and now people are just like, well, we don't want a debt ceiling at all. Okay, that's even worse, right? So just imagine giving a credit card to a drunk person, right, who doesn't have any restraint on spending. What do you think is going to happen to your wallet? It's going to be bad for everyone. But in this case, in terms of, I mean, that was a bad analogy, but in this case, you could see through and through evidence that leadership has been using the money for the right reason, or not use the money for anything yet that we could speak of. And again, for most people, they probably don't want to make the position in the company because of that, because I'm talking about like the big institution out there. Okay, I'm not talking about just retail in general, but those people might not want to make that decision because they don't know what Ryan Cohen does. But I don't think Ryan Cohen really catering to them, right? So it's good and bad. It's both good and bad, because then big money is not going to be able to infiltrate, right? They don't necessarily want to buy anything that they cannot control, right? So again, that's why you might see like slow growth of institutional ownership out there. So again, Ryan Cohen has to deliver a lot bigger amounts, I guess, for them to move. But that's good for retail, right? Because if you understand that this company is, made for retail investor, and you will become the big institution one day too, a collective of us. Do you have any plan to buy? No. I know, like, people think that I'm a gambler sometimes, because I invest in GameStop. I don't, like, again, I'm not a collector, and I'm not going to spend money like that. I used to buy lottery tickets, but not like, you know, I stopped doing that because I was like, let me just invest better. So I've been trained not to, buy things that I don't need. And with the Smith card thing, sure, I mean, it's cool to have those, but again, not a collector, so no. I will assume, yeah, I mean, people would hope, but whatever he does, I feel like I'm down with it. Yeah, I think he knows the direction of the company more than anyone in the world. And so whatever money that he was able to accumulate, honestly, I just feel like he's just taking the opportunity to raise as much money as possible, because we don't know what's going to happen next year. Yes, we could expect that it's going to go higher in terms of like economy and all that stuff, but that could, like, Jimmy could lose the ability to raise money in a blink of an eye, right? When you need the money the most, that's when that's when it's the worst time to dilute. And so right now it's an ample opportunity to do that. Why? Because liquidity is coming to the company. I mean, liquidity is coming to this type of event. Okay, and I think again he knows the market structure. I feel like he probably talking to a lot of people who, in the know that, hey, if you have the ability to raise money, why not do that? And now would be the best time. Why? look at all of the IPO lately. Typically, IPO happens when the liquidity rush into the market, right? And whatever amount of money, whatever amount of billions of dollars that we're going to be able to raise within this time frame, it's ample. Like it's not ample. It's the most important, period in, capital raising environment here. Again, money flows easier now than uh, maybe quarter 2, quarter 3 of next year, because okay, no one will have the money to do anything at that point. So, and what is evident is Bitcoin, like the most sensitive to, world liquidity out there. So yeah, you might see Bitcoin flipping this. It already is. Like, look at it. Already. Yeah. You look at the body of the candle. This is a weekly candle. I mean, pretty bullish. Right? About 5 more hours for the candle to close. So yeah, Monday is coming. Pretty cool. Okay. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I think I read this one. Let me go back. It is a cumulative naked shorting and buying. Yes. Force buying. Okay, so no. Well, there is a when a company joins 500 divided okay. Staying happy. Cool. Wow. Well, thank you for the engagement, you guys. Like, I know this much action for a while. It's exhausting, you guys, like to trying to keep up with the, you know, chat and all that stuff. If you have too many people, might not even have time to go to the chat. I appreciate that. Let's see. Anyway, so with this one, with this alone, I feel like that should raise the value of GameStop. With the fact that Bitcoin is going to be going higher. Right? So we'll see. Again, speculation, right? Who knows? They might still have the ability to bring it down. Don't underestimate, the tools and that they have on this stock. It's been what, 4 years already that they are able to keep it down. But who's they? Who's they? No idea. Okay. So uptrend, we could see that. I would wager, let me see, by 2 more quarters, you're gonna see something amazing. Because they could delay it another quarter just to, you know, keep people in this range of emotion. Okay. And then when you least expect it, you're gonna see the God candle. Right? Do you like to buy at GameStop? Do I like to buy at GameStop? So I don't buy things that I don't need. Not to say that, GameStop doesn't sell things that I don't need. Day-to-day electronic stuff, I don't, buy from it. I don't have a console. What is it? Console? Yeah. See, PlayStation. Because it's too expensive for me growing up. It's like I could buy it, but I feel like it's a waste of money. That's just my experience, though. I am a PC gamer. For one thing, like I don't know how to use the controller. That's probably why I hate console. So I like to play with my keyboard and mouse if I game. But lately, no, I have not bought anything. I bought some gift cards for my coworker, but not much. As far as like personal stuff, no. I think about the stuff that I need more than anything. But yeah, hey, if I make a lot of money on the stock, I don't mind buying gift cards for people to buy those stuff for their own home. Let me see. I do have their credit card though. I think if I want to upgrade my computer, then yes, I'm gonna. But right now, I don't need to upgrade my computer at the moment. So more practical than anything. Sorry, pretty boring in the way that I spend my money. I guess like when you get older, right? I feel like I don't need all that to be happy. Let's see. How about you? Do you shop at Gamestop? Let's see. And again, that's not to say that because I don't shop at GameStop doesn't mean that nobody else shop at GameStop. Pokemon people are pretty, I guess, excited to own one of those things, and it's all speculation too. Like they buy those scalper, and they know that they could make a percentage on top of that. So now with GameStop, it's just easier for them to acquire some of those. But again, there's a limitation on how much they could get. So it might be good for the general public who actually like, the Pokemon. For me, I just never get into it. Magic the Gathering. I know someone who knows a lot of people who collect those type of games. But yeah. I'm pretty intentional in the way I spend my money. And then they have this one.
At least I hope we are. This is where all the magic is. Here we are. This is the back room. I'm in my little cool spot that I like to take my break in. Well, I'm Brian. Forgot my name tag today, so I'm just gonna put that bad boy right there. All right, I've been here for almost 20 years. I'm the store manager of this location, and I'm excited to be filmed and show you what it's like working here at a GameStop store. Oh, I think a customer just came in. I need to take care of them. I started here as a part-time employee back in 2006, right in time for that launch. launch.
Actually, we can't actually talk about any stuff. We can't really talk about.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Even the remote.
No, we can't make any mention of. We have to bleep it out.
Okay, if we can bleep it out, then that's totally cool.
Okay, just know we're gonna bleep it out.
Got it. I can remember my first year here with the company. It was a crazy incident when it was a little bit after came out. We had a guy snatch and grab console. I was working that day and it was crazy. I just jumped the counter and I ran after him. He was out of shape. He pulled a hammy. He drops the console. I grab it. I just laugh at him and then I go back inside. But I'm just kidding because we would never do something like that. Well, first I come in about an hour before we actually open the store, do all of the normal opening duties that one would do as they get a store ready for business.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy this. There's so many stuff. Funko Pop. I just never get into collectible stuff. It's you need a lot of space and all that stuff.
10 a.m. to around 12 p.m. is kind of like the morning part of the day, obviously, and that's kind of when the trading card bros come in. They made themselves really cozy. Brought a mattress, pretty wild. Came that morning to open the store. Smelt some barbecue. I'm pretty sure it was some hot dogs that were being grilled. I don't understand the chatter. I know we sell other things other than Funko Pops. I personally like Funko or the video games. All I do is just point at the video game section and say, look over there, you got them. Yeah, the trade value is $20 store credit. If you want cash, it's 20% less of that. Oh, what's 20% of 20? Okay. No, I can't accept cash over the phone. Hello, hi. This is Brian at your local Gamestop. I was calling for huge jazz. And then you can interchange the parts, which is super fun. So see, like that?
Yeah.
Customizable.
Cool. With the camera, they'll film something.
Filming a documentary of how we pretty common, for a store manager, as one would do, get on my phone and look at all of the fun GameStop social media posts and the comments from customers, and I take that feedback and try to integrate it into my own business here and see that we don't repeat those same things that people post on Reddit. After I get off my break, I come back, and that's the second part of my day, and usually right between 3 to 5 o'clock is the sweet spot of us being the unofficial babysitters of retail. I look up these Gen Z slangs because that's a big client base of ours. Cap, dead, sus. All right, you want to get $100 from Roblox? Where'd you get all that money from?
Just swipe the card.
Almost 20 years, a long time. And what keeps me coming back is we sell fun. And I like to come to work and knowing that I get to sell fun. It makes me happy, and not a lot of people get to say that, so I feel blessed to be able to have an opportunity to sell what we sell and get to work with people that share the same common interest as me too. Can I get some over here? I gotta.
Anyway. Okay, you're trying to get me to holding company? What? GameStop is a holding company? No way. PSA card, okay. I guess you're into crypto too. I work in a financial. Okay, so card. Okay, cool. You work in a financial industry? What are you doing? Really? What is your title? You don't mind me asking. Are you from Wall Street? Are you actually shorting the company? Are you infiltrating my chat? Are you paid? Are you even a bot? Are you even like a human? I'm paranoid. Let me see. Give some. Yes, I got. Oh, cool. Do they even know what a PSA card is? One of those, what is it? The power pack thing? I think, gonna do, gonna watch it later. But anyway, so, yeah, so the holding company aspect of things, of course, that's been since last, was it December when we announced that last year? So last year or a couple years ago. But we've known that for quite some time, that they are switching to a holding company, and it's a firm. Sorry, it's a I think it's an optionality that will give GameStop the flexibility to, use that capital for anything else other than, growing the business and all that stuff. And, the fact that they are able to buy Bitcoin and put Bitcoin into their balance sheet is already half of the battle, right? Because the problem with the S&P 500 companies out there, they need their board of director to approve to add stuff like that into the balance sheets. And and so if you look at the trend of the capital markets right now, I mean, Bitcoin is the most important things that people should be at least looking into it, right? Including your own personal life. It's not just, for corporation, of course. But yes, it is a new concept for sure for people to look at GME as a holding company. And again, that's why people, including me, compare GME into Berkshire Hathaway, right? One of the most stable holding companies out there who are have the ability to buy other company, and you could control the company that way, in order to hopefully for the betterment of society, for the betterment of the company in and of itself. So the fact that GME, Ryan Cohen, is able to turn this company around successfully, he could turn this model into, turn any other shitty companies out there into a more successful company, right? So build it slowly, one by one, that way. And so eventually, you could repeat that model into any other company out there, not just the video game here. So again, like, that takes an enormous amount of work, you guys. Like, you need to create a culture in the way that the money managers out there would support. Okay, and again, that's why the way that he is structuring the board of director is the correct way to do this, because then only the people who are in here investing in the company for the long term would survive. If you're just here to try to gain control over the company so that you could flip it to something that is not sustainable, like the private equity out there, to benefit your own self, then you're not gonna survive well here in GameStop board of director. And it only signal to the most serious people out there who really want to build value for the economy. And it seems scarce right now. And that's precisely why it's such an opportunity for people to hop onto this wagon, if you will. It's such a vacuum in that you are a contrarian right now to want to create real value into society. Can you imagine that? And again, like, if you look at the earnings, you could see it. Like, some companies don't deserve that valuation. Everyone knows it, but for some reason, people are still asleep, right? Because they see, price goes up, green candle is like, oh my God, I make so much money. But, the company is just a shell. It's nothing in that company for you to even hold it. That's why it's unsustainable. Because eventually it's going to collapse. But anyway, So yeah, Jimmy could stand to gain so much just from that. Just be the contrarian force out there for people to, okay, which one would you rather have? A sustainable, stable, slow growth, um, uh, building something brick by brick instead of, someone who could flail their arms around and tout it as the biggest messiah out there, right? Sorry, shouldn't say that. But again, you could be deceived into giving these people these leadership who have not proven that they've been creating anything of value to put into the society yet, right? And again, like AI and all that stuff fall into that. So even Jeff Bezos said it. AI is a bubble. And if you look at his action, he sold his share already, right, for tens of billions of dollars. And so that is telling, you don't listen to what they say, you follow what they do in action. Anyone that knows it's not, but okay, anyone that I know is not invested. Jimmy, okay. I have no idea what power is, but hopefully they will. Yes, of course, it's a gamble. Obviously, everything is a gamble. Even Robin Hood, like now they're able to you're able to bet on the weather. Unfortunately, that's the only markets in the U.S. now that create some sort of value for the society that we live in. I'd rather. Okay, I would have rather. It could be fun. Yeah, I mean, you could get addicted to those too. You see people flipping, $1,000 one to get $7,000. So yeah, like it's a gamble place for rich people for sure. And I think that's the market right now, where that's why the margin is so high. And less expenses for that too. So if they are able to turn around so many PSA graded card through PSA, not only that, you are the one that created the PSA graded card, send it to PSA to grade, and then you just churn those items through the people who are wanting to open up the pack and then get those items. And not only that, you have the ability for them to sell it to you directly, removing that friction in order to get people into the fold. Can be dangerous, yes. I mean, if you're not careful, you might spend hundreds of thousands of dollars here. But only for people who have that type of money. I don't, unfortunately. But even if I do I really want to spend money on that? I don't know. We'll see. If it's for a good cause. I would much rather be an owner of that casino than the person that go to that casino. But yeah. Let's see. People haven't been talking about Jimmy at length at all. I mean, the news media has been
Joining
very
me right now.
quiet, right? When Jimmy fell in terms of like low revenue, right? You could hear it everywhere. It's blasting. Revenue's down, sales down, right? Now that the revenue's up by 8%, zip, silent. So this is how you know that, there's manipulation going on here, is that they don't give a full picture for GameStop. And that's why people don't realize what GameStop is. This is where your opportunity lies. You buy things when it's quiet, when people know nothing about it, right? And, that's why, again, count yourself as a blessing, to see GameStop at this price point. I know I've been saying this for the last couple years. Ever since, under 20, under 30 and all that stuff is a good buy, and which is true, right? And right now, hardly any risk, I don't think, I don't think there's any risk associated with this company, because they have so much money, um, to do a lot of things. Now, these sell size analysts are not there anymore, so they have to pivot at least to neutral position, right? And so, and it's only a matter of time when it's bullish again. When the media flip bullish, that's when you know. That's when you know you win. You're already winning right now when they're staying quiet, when the company is doing well. So, see, they cover everything else. GameStop. They don't even put, GameStop is here on the article, but then they tag something else. That's cool. See. Anyway, we already won, you guys. Right? We just need to, wait to get paid, I guess. And some like that risk. Yeah. It's crazy how the market. Yeah, I mean, again, because I think it's more expectation of inflation than anything. I think it's more sensitive to what Jerome Powell is trying to do. More, nothing to do with the value created. The GDP, I know, the GDP went up because of that, because of the inflation. It's not that we have been increasing in productivity all of a sudden. Like, people have been losing job left and right here. With AI and all that stuff, they're trying to prop it up as if like it's the thing that will take people's job away and all that stuff. No, I think it's going to be at least another 20 years before that happen. Maybe a little bit less, because you could evolve pretty quickly. But eventually you're going to still need human to do those things. And you need human to spend. Like, who's going to spend, the money? Who's going to consume, all those quote unquote products being, spew out there? I don't know. Again, I don't know what's the future of the world is going to be like, but I would like to live in a freer society. That you have the ability to do whatever you like, say whatever you like without being restrained. Yeah, people in power doesn't want that. So you have to stay quiet for a little. Don't know why I'm going to that tangent. Next year, major firm will. Oh, okay, which one? Major firm will have to maybe more political. I don't know. Musical share. Music will stop. True. True. But before it stopped, though, I'm gonna try to take advantage of that liquidity pouring in. They're gonna have to sell at some point, you guys. Like, and maybe that music stop, and then Jimmy's gonna run with it too. But again, that's why I think Ryan Cohen is setting up for that. He's pretty smart in the market structure of things. I don't think he's gonna be so dumb to dilute when there's no one to buy. I think he's pretty aware of what is happening with the liquidity coming in. When people are telling, when people are saying that Brian Cohen doesn't buy the right time when Bitcoin was like, at 100 and something, they think that Bitcoin was expensive. Well, you're about to find out that it's cheap at $100,000 a coin. So he made the right decision, for sure. Remember when he tweeted? Oh, hold on, let me see. It's a hint to me, like when you say, I know I follow like Brian Cohen, but when he tweet about, oh, Bitcoin is at 119 something, it means that he was looking into it. Oops. There you go. I just searched the tweet. So back in July 13, he tweeted this. So it means that he was looking into Bitcoin. When did we buy Bitcoin? What date is this? There you go. Oh, and then I tweeted at him. But I know, I mean, I'm bullish on XRP, so don't mind me. Tokenization. But yeah, so at 19, I think it was around here. July, July 13. Mm-mm-mm-mm. They were keeping through. So again, maybe he was watching for the breakout, right? And then waiting for the drop. Okay. So that's pretty smart, right? You buy during the pullback. So that tells me that he's actually aware of what it's about to do. So who knows? This thing here, this run here, might be him. Might be him buying. July. This is when he tweeted. So maybe I think he bought it here. Go back. But nonetheless, that's what happened. But yeah, that tweet with Taylor too. I think that's why he is doing this mix offering now. Is that perhaps the preferred share? What is it? The preferred share? He planned to get a yield bearing type of deal going too. That'd be cool to see. Just offering a better way to raise money without diluting the common shareholder. immediately. Obviously, like it's a future dilution. It's just giving GME a better optionality in terms of raising rather than go to the ATM. Now you have another means of making money or raising money, right? At will. Like it's gonna be easier. It's going to be quicker. You don't have to even tell tell shareholder. Now I know like some people might not like that. I know maybe institutional investor out there might be, don't like that type of executive decision, but I think more of them will come to realize that it's actually better when you think of the leadership wanting the best for shareholders, right? Including them, for everyone, not just institutional, but retail shareholders. Anywho, all right, guys, I am pooped out. I feel like I'm going on too long at the moment. But yeah, thank you so much for engagement, Jay Crispy. I appreciate you. But anyway, so just be careful for Monday. I know people are enthusiastic about what's happening with the warrant and everything, but just know, like, if you have shares, if you have warrants, there's nothing to worry about until, you choose to sell. Right? For me, I'm just gonna wait out and see quarter by quarter, understanding, next quarter's what it's going to be. I think that we're gonna make so much money, more so than the last quarter. Maybe this is the point in which we're gonna show, double digit in terms of, surprise. What is it? Instead of just 900, it's going to be over $1 billion worth of revenue increase. I mean, that would be amazing, right? And then on top of that, you have the earnings per share due to, Bitcoin going up in price during that time. So this end of this month would be the snapshot, okay, of GameStop earnings in terms of Bitcoin holding. So to me, there's nowhere but up. Clear blue sky over here. So price discovery is coming for Bitcoin for sure. All right. Thank you so much. I will let you go.